People compare United States of America and the Soviet Union, those who might support Soviet Union would argue that look, the modern history of the United States started with 1776, 1777, and since then it was only attacked twice. Well, there has been one other incident when White House was burned, but more or less 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. While United States itself militarily intervened, according to Naval Historical College of the United States, more than 223 times militarily. On the other hand, if we look at Soviet Union, then Soviet Union was militarily invaded during the First World War, losing around millions of people. During Second World War, 70 million people perished during the Second World War, and 27 million of them were the Soviet citizen.
Yes.
And war experts say that in a war, if one person gets killed, on average five get injured, including post-traumatic effects. Then Soviet Union lost more than 34,000 industries, more than 4,000 towns, cities,
76,000 villages.
yeah.
Yeah,
So given all
1,410
that,
towns.
and
Yeah.
despite all that, people would argue that in 1956, the first industrial country of the world was the US and the Soviet Union was the second. So people point out that during the First World War, the US lost hardly 400,000 people, and it did not get any destruction at all if you compare with the Soviet Union. And the UK also lost around 300 or 400,000 or maybe 500,000 people. So do you think that these factors should be taken into account while comparing Soviet and American economy, and why it's important?
Well, then I can answer all that, but yes, of course, precisely the fact that, as you rightly say, the United States has intervened 223 times around the world. They set themselves up, if not before, certainly after the Second World War, as the world's policemen, and seem to give themselves every right to intervene wherever it is they wish. As Elon Musk said, we'll coup wherever we want, even though he's a South African and not an American, but there you are. The strange thing is, somehow or other, the majority of people in other countries almost seem to accept the United States' role in this. If they do something, it's this is how they've managed to sell it, it's always with the best of intentions. So, I mean, the fact that they went into Iraq to prevent weapons of mass destruction, which clearly didn't exist. Yes, of course. You and I and millions of others disagreed with it and will always point out how wicked it was. But the majority of the world accept it. But now Russia has gone into Ukraine. Totally different. Israel commits genocide in Gaza. Well, it's different. They have a right to self-defense. These are the arguments which unfortunately seem to win over so many people in the world who it's as if they have some blinkers over their eyes. They can't see what's obvious to you and me.
Do you think that if Soviet Union did not face that much destruction during the Second World War, and things would have been entirely different?
I think they might have been, yes, obviously, to make up the dreadful losses that they had before they could progress further, was obviously a hindrance. Whereas the United States were completely on the other side, because war is good business, isn't it? You know, if you're in the business of making weapons, you want to sell them. And so they did very well, and they were able to subsidize places like West Germany to make it look like a paradise, as opposed to, sorry, I had to take this.